Hey gardeners, it is February 25th and I need to begin cutting back my Limelight hydrangeas. I usually wait until mid to late February to cut back the hydrangeas. I try to make sure I get this done before they start to leaf out. So this weekend is a perfect time to get these cut back. And that big one back there, I need to get back there and get that pruned back. So I'll show you my technique for pruning my Limelight hydrangeas. And just a note, I have mostly panicle hydrangeas in my garden because I have a full sun garden, and the panicle hydrangeas tend to hold up best in my garden with all of the heat and humidity that we get each summer. So I'll take you through and show you my process for cutting back these Limelight hydrangeas and little lime hydrangeas. So of course you want to make sure that your pruners are clean and sharp. So I've already sharpened and cleaned my pruners. If anything is diseased or broken, cut that off. If there are any branches that are really skinny, smaller than the size of a pencil, I usually cut those off. You can tell the growth pattern, and I'll show a close-up of this. You can see where I cut it last year, and it produces about 2 to 3 feet of growth here. So let me get a little closer so I can show you where I cut it last year. So you can see right here is where I made a cut last year. And look at the amount of growth that came from that single cut. So every time I make a cut, there's going to be about 2 feet to 3 feet of growth. Here's another spot where I cut last year. Let's see if we can get in here. Right there. You can see where I cut that last year. And look at all of this growth that has happened. So this year, my plan is to maybe cut these a little lower instead of having these really long stems. I'm going to go lower, and I have to give credit to Grow For Me Gardening because they showed me how they prune their hydrangeas by going up 3 nodes and then cutting it. So I think that's what I'm going to do this year. Instead of letting these branches be so long, I do want them to be supportive of new growth, but I know that the growth will be so much if I cut it too high. So yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to cut these a little lower than I normally would. So anything that's really skinny, really tiny, that definitely will come off. And this year I'm cutting more than half of this branch, maybe about half. They say you should only cut back 1/3 of your shrubs, but these are so resilient and I want to maintain the height of this a bit. So I'm going to go pretty low on these. So look at all of that. All of that growth from one season. This branch is interrupting this taller hydrangea. I may get my loppers and cut this branch all the way down to the base because I had planned to move one of these hydrangeas, but I just can't make myself do it. So I'm trying to control the growth so that they don't interrupt each other too much, but I know they will eventually. All right, so this is the finished product of that hydrangea. I see a couple of branches in there that I might be able to take back a little bit more. But I'll walk away for a little while and then come back. That's one of the lessons I've learned with pruning is if you start getting a little happy about cutting things back, take a break and then come back, because otherwise you might cut your shrubs down to the ground and you didn't mean to. All right, moving on to the next one. It is February 26th, and the task today is to prune this beautiful hydrangea. This is my clearance hydrangea from many years ago, and it is so beautiful and so happy. You can see I left the blooms on during the winter because it just makes a statement in the garden, standing back here among the sunshine ligustrums and the hinoki fall cypress. So I'll get to it. All right, that wasn't too bad. Here's the finished product. I took off a lot of branches. This Limelight hydrangea grows about 3 feet each year. So with every cut, there will be new branches, and that growth can get really tall. You can tell where there was an old cut. I freshened that up a little bit just now. But that's an old cut, and the branches grew from there. And you can see all of those old cuts and where the new branches came off of them this past year. And the cuttings that I made, I like to do science experiments. So I put all of those cuttings in this bucket of water, and I stick them in the ground and just see what happens. So that's my science experiment. It's my garden. I do science experiments. But here's that finished product. So here's a closer look at how I do my pruning, or how I'm doing it this year. If you'll count, there are 1, 2, 3 nodes, and then I make the cut. Sometimes I go 4, depending on if that first node is pretty close to the main branch. But that's what I'm doing. I'm going through and counting up 3 to 4 nodes from the main branch and cutting these hydrangeas back. These branches that are cutting through the entire shrub will be cut down. These little spindly looking ones will be cut back. And yeah, that's it. So time to work on this one.